So we're feeling unusually tired after our Isochain session. And just suck it up, man. Stop whining. No, sadly, this time it is not that simple. We're not talking about overtraining. We're gonna talk about CNS fatigue, central nervous system fatigue. Let's get into it. So CNS fatigue happens when a person's neurons don't fire as quickly as they should, when the brain doesn't send messages to the body to move quickly, a person isn't able to exercise the same rate as before. CNS fatigue also inhibits muscle regrowth, which reduces exercise performance. Commonly mixed up with regular overtraining, CNS fatigue is a different beast entirely. It's something that, as we at No Limit Squad are going to be using the Isochain in addition to our weightlifting and cardio sessions, it is something that we need to keep a lookout for, and here's why. When we do our Isochain sessions here, as you can see in this video here, you know, my veins are all getting exposed during the workout. We're putting everything we have into this isometric contraction for those couple seconds where all systems go. All neurons are firing at max capacity. Remember, muscle fibers that wire together fire together. So unlike DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, where after the first 24 to 48 hours of an isotonic weightlifting session where we have the concentric and eccentric contractions, with these isometric ones, the fatigue can be hidden, and so it's really important to keep a lookout for these signs: irritability, emotional changes, disrupted sleep patterns, food cravings or loss of appetite, and a weakened immune system. Right around the second week of my Power 45 routine that I made, I started to undergo CNS fatigue, and I know exactly why it happened. I did my Isochain workout right before I went to go lift. There are studies that if you do an isometric contraction right before you go into your weightlifting set, not whole routine and then go into the set, just one isometric contraction before you go into your set, it will increase your numbers, which just makes sense because you're teaching your body to fire all cylinders go, if that makes sense, but not the whole routine. So I was already fatigued going into the next workout, so I'm wondering why I just cannot get in the groove. And I found out that a lot of those symptoms started to show up, and so what I did was I just gave myself some rest. So if CNS fatigue ever happens to you, here's what I'd suggest based off of one, personal experience, and two, and just book smarts. Stagger your Isochain and your weightlifting if you can. So what I mean by that is I'm a personal trainer, so my shifts are different. I do my Isochain midday, so right around noon when my morning shift is done, I have a couple hours before I go in for the evening shift. So anywhere between 12 and 1 o'clock, I'll do my Isochain session for about 15 minutes, and then I don't even weightlift until like 8 o'clock at night. That works for me. Now, if I was at my old job and I was working an 8-hour shift in a row, what I'd do is I'd mix it up, and I'd either do the Isochain session in the morning before I left and then do the weightlifting at night, or vice versa. Do the weightlifting in the morning and then do the Isochain at night. Either way, I definitely stagger them. That's just my opinion. Resting is very important for the body. We got to make sure that we get rest. Just like in a weight room, we know better than to just blast our biceps on Monday and then Tuesday go and do biceps. No, we need to work a different muscle group. That's just an example, but that makes sense. You don't do leg day on Monday, then you do leg day on Tuesday. They're not done recovering. Even though we recover the quickest from an isometric session and we could do it the next day, we still have to take into account what we're doing that same day. So if you're doing an Isochain session and then you're doing a weightlifting or cardio session later on, just be mindful of how much space you put in between. Personally, I'd recommend at least 3 hours if time allows. If it doesn't, just do the best that you can. But if you notice that it is just hard to catch your groove, just make sure that you also have a balanced diet going on, as that is a huge factor regardless of whether you're doing an Isochain session or not, and that we're getting enough sleep. Because just like a set of rechargeable batteries, if you only recharge the batteries for 3 hours, when on the back of the package it says to recharge the batteries for 8 hours, well then you only get 3 hours worth of it and then your batteries run out. We're the same. Listen, we need sleep. That's our rechargeable batteries. If it's too late and you're already experiencing CNS fatigue, what I'd recommend is take some rest for like a day or so. I'd go for a full 24 hours to just relax, and then hit it the following day when you're fresh. So your central nervous system, it needs time to recover. That's really it. This is a quick one. I just wanted to go over this just in case one of us in the squad experienced some of these symptoms where it's like, hey, you know, because your numbers are not always going to be going steadily up. It's going to go more like a down, up, down, up, down. So it's like those line graphs. It's never just a straight line up. It's always like a little dip, but it's in an upward trajectory. Same thing here. So just something to keep in mind. If come back to this video and refer to it to see if you're undergoing any of those symptoms, and it might be CNS fatigue. We'd know how to rehab ourselves after going through it. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Just a PSA for us all, our Isochain journey here at No Limit Squad. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, because I do love hearing from you guys. And if you have not yet subscribed to the No Limit Squad, come join the squad. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.